I'm Tony, and this is LaRonda.
Hello.
LaRonda is going to sing one of her mother, Miss Omi's, songs that she wrote years ago, and so I'm going to turn it over to LaRonda, and this is dedicated to
All
Omi.
right. I'm not going to be singing. I'm going to be just reading it to you. This is called His Power. Early one morning, as I was praying, I was talking to God. I said, Lord, I do love and I want to serve you while on this earth I trod. I must feel your power every hour. Without you, I'm nothing at all. He gave me direction and told me to listen when the thunder began to roll. The sound of the lightning was flashing. I kept on asking, oh Lord, is that you I hear now? Oh, what power God showed me that hour. God showed me that very hour. I asked him in Jesus' name. He said, child, you must serve me. I'll always be with thee from morning till the sun goeth down. I'll never leave you. I'll never forsake you. Oh, bring the lost ones in. My blessings I'll give you. My promises are true. I'll always be your best friend. Inspired by the Holy Spirit, written by Oma Shepherd, 920 of 97, and that's number 113 song. You know, one thing I wanted to say, Tony, about Mom's songs that Tony has me to read or sing one. She always was about um, leading people to Jesus. That's all. That's what she was about. That's what she did in her everyday life. That's what she was about. Was who else can I lead to the Lord today? So there's your ring.
She was an evangelist.
She was, yeah.
Is what you're trying to say.
And she's not passed away, but she's in a nursing home. And
And we play these for her sometimes.
We do.
We didn't have time today. We got about halfway through Glory Land. We let her watch Cecil's service.
Yes.
And we got about halfway through it, and then we needed to leave. She needed us to leave. So in the EXO marriage in August, the 22nd of this year, they sent me an email, and tonight's topic is, what can we learn from arranged marriages?
Oh, we've talked about that just amongst me and you.
Right. And so I think this is going to go along with love is a choice.
Okay.
Because if you're arranged, you kind of have to choose.
You have to.
It's not this oogly googly eyed, I fall in love with you. It's like, oh, I've got to.
Somebody chose for you.
Well, somebody chose for you. I've got to live with this person the rest of my life. I better man up.
Yep, exactly.
Especially if my parents pick them, then they'll be all upset if something happens. It's kind of like with you. You know, my family would disown me if something happened between me and you. And so, it would be the same way with an arranged marriage here, maybe, you know. So marriage takes a lot of hard work, and people in arranged marriages know that from the very beginning. They know marriages know that from the very beginning of their relationship. Should be they, I would say there probably.
Yeah, a little bit of an era there.
Okay, many of my friends have been watching the new matchmaking shows on Netflix.
Yeah.
And highlighting dating. I guess that's Married at First Sight.
Yeah.
And
90 Day Fiance.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And so in cultures most Americans don't encounter in their everyday lives. The show Indian Matchmaking. Okay, so that's that's that show.
I've not seen that.
Has captured a large audience because of the facilitation with a completely different way of finding a potential spouse. Which reminds me, I've got to tell you this story. I always have dating stories.
You always do.
I was in college at Somerset Community College, and there was this good-looking Iranian girl. And so I said, my church is having a hayride on Saturday. Would you like to go to the hayride? And she said, well, unfortunately, you would have to have your dad talk to my uncle.
Oh.
And there would be camels involved.
There would be camels involved.
Camels and horses.
Oh my goodness. That's funny.
Before I could go to your hayride.
I guess she never went to the hayride, did she?
No, she didn't, but I thought that was. I
hilarious.
encountered this at one point.
Did you say, I'll buy some camels?
Maybe I should have talked to my dad. Hey, where you go talk to this
Go talk to
girl's dad?
her uncle and take him a couple horses.
Maybe it would have worked out better for me than what I had. But anyway, while the program doesn't exactly show how arranged marriages function in Indian culture, there are some similarities that seem very different for most people in the U.S. In India, where my friend Daniel lives, over 90% of marriages are arranged by family members.
Yeah.
And so that's actually an excerpt. I'm going to read it again here in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Arranged marriages are more prevalent worldwide than many people realize. Well, I mean, in the Bible, it was
They arranged them.
Those were arranged marriages.
Yeah.
And really, most people don't realize that really dating is a new idea, and it's an American idea. And it's probably not a good idea.
People, it doesn't work out a whole lot, does it?
No, I remember I ran into the Shine effect, and they were two couples,
Yeah.
and they talked about how that they were in whenever the way that they did was that they courted.
Yeah.
See, courting was before dating.
It was.
And so people courted. And it meant that your intentions were to see if you were compatible to marry, rather than just to go out and go to a hayride.
Yeah.
Together.
Do you know? I never went on a date. Now this is honest truth. That with anyone that I did not think I might marry. I didn't go out with somebody just because they was handsome or had a good looking truck or whatever.
Or just to go see a movie.
Or just go see a movie or out to dinner.
Oh.
No, I did.
I could always talk him into, hey, you gotta be hungry.
Let's go get something to eat.
Let me go buy you supper.
I would say, no, you don't. I don't think I'm going to marry you, so forget it.
I know. They didn't want to marry me for some reason.
Exactly. I just wanted to go out for supper.
I could just talk them into going out to eat with me. But anyway, arranged marriages are more prevalent. Well, in India, this is what I read, where my friend Daniel lives, over 90% of marriages are arranged by family members. Even in the United States, 86% of Indian population still opts for arranged marriages within their community. Globally, 55% of all marriages are arranged. And as our nation becomes more ethnical and cultural diverse, we are likely to encounter more individuals in arranged marriages. However, it is important to acknowledge that when discussing arranged marriages, there is a distinction between arranged marriages and forced marriages.
Oh, right. Right.
Okay, forced marriages are unequivocally wrong from an American viewpoint. Why? And I'm not sure that I agree with that.
What, unequivocally wrong?
Well, where the parents say, you're going to marry him.
You're marrying him. He's a good kid.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Your picker's broke.
Yeah, your picker's broke.
We're going to pick for you. Where individual consent is a fundamental principle. In the case of my friend Daniel, his parents, who are strong Christians, sought out other Christian parents with daughters who share their son's lifelong commitment to Jesus Christ. Now, I don't know why we don't do this in our churches today. You know,
Right.
parents get together and say,
I
hey,
love that.
let's put our kids together.
Yeah. Let's keep them together, just them.
Right.
Yeah.
And so,
That'd
but,
be
you know,
nice.
that was the thing with this girl. I mean, you know, you would then have a period where you would talk, she talked about it, you'd sit down and talk and see if you're compatible and these
Right.
kind of things. And so it was a choice that, you know, it wouldn't be like her uncle and my father would force us to, you know, to
Get married.
but we would, you know, sit down and see if we're compatible. I kind of learned. I found it fascinating. It was an educational experience.
It really was. I've never come up to that.
I will never forget it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
They engaged in thorough discussions to understand each other's values, including Daniel's desire to share his faith fearlessly. That's what you were talking about your mom.
Yep.
So making sure your shape, you know, we've talked about
Our
your shape
shapes, yeah.
is compatible.
Absolutely.
As Rick Warren would say. You know, finding the right woman for Daniel was not an easy task. There was an engagement at one point, but it was called off because the woman was not comfortable with her potential husband's unwavering devotion to his faith.
Oh no.
In most arranged Christian
We've had that before.
marriages in India, either party has the right to refuse their parents' choices.
Oh, they
at
do.
any
They have a
time.
right. I didn't know that.
Finally, Daniel's parents met another couple whose daughter shared their faith and Daniel's passion for spreading the message of Jesus. After several meetings, both sets of parents introduced Daniel and the woman to each other. They, I was just thinking Prager likes to arrange marriages
Yeah.
among conservative couples.
Yeah. I think that's great. I mean, really, truly.
I guess you're playing matchmaker.
You are, but it's kind of like an arranged matchmaker.
They arranged a meeting at a local park where the couple sat on a bench while their parents observed from a distance.
Oh, that'd be embarrassing.
Well, that was the way it was
I
explained to
know.
me. Is you would go somewhere and sit and see if you're compatible. This courtship phase allowed the prospective couple to get to know each other better. I guess you better come with questions.
Absolutely. And you better be yourself and not a faker.
Let's see. Yeah.
You know? So many people can fake for so long.
Have you ever been arrested?
Yeah, exactly. Are you a drug addict? Are you an alcoholic?
Yeah. How
Come
often
on.
do you drink? How often
exactly.
do you take? What prescription medications
Yeah.
do you take?
Bring them in a bag with you to the meeting.
It'd be like going to the doctor's office.
Exactly. Bring your all
Bring
your,
fill out a form before you. Here's a form for you to fill out.
How many surgeries have you had?
I mean, we're joking, but that might be actually a good idea for you or a single out there.
Yeah.
Is to have like an application, a dating application.
And a blood test. A blood test was only taken this week.
I mean, we do that for tenants.
We do.
They're living in a property. I mean, it's not like I'm marrying them.
No.
I mean,
But you have to know everything about it.
Yeah. Also, I mean, why wouldn't you do that if you're dating somebody?
I don't know.
Do an
We just don't.
application. It just came to my idea, but why don't we do that? Why don't we do it?
You fill
well,
that
we
out.
kind of do that with these online dating services.
Yes.
I know. What is the
But
one
they
that?
lie.
Yeah, but what's the Christian one?
Oh, it's a doozy. I took it one time.
Yeah, I know I did too.
It took an hour to fill it out.
Right. It's like on
100
6
questions.
different points of.
And
matches.
you know who they matched me up with? Of all the thousands, I got one match.
Right.
A preacher. One match. I didn't contact him or anything. What's it called?
Well, they wouldn't.
eHarmony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't let me on it. I think it's because that they found out I was codependent.
Oh.
I was too codependent for.
Well, I answered all the questions right.
But were you divorced at the time?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was my second thing. I thought it might have been because I had some divorces.
Yeah,
on my
no.
own.
I don't know. Who knows? But I only got
He
one
needs
match.
to remain single.
Yeah, one match is all I got.
But yeah, I know I've been on those where they match you, and it's like only one person. They're like 3 states away.
Yeah, and definitely not a match for you for sure.
It's almost like you remember we used to do those in high school. We could send roses to our match.
Yes.
Anonymously or
Yes.
something.
But then what good does that do you if it's
well,
anonymous?
and then it was always one that was kind of outweighed. One didn't really match the other one.
Yes.
As far as looks or
It's
something.
it's weird. It's weird.
Okay, this courtship phase allowed the prospective couple to get to know each other better. Oh, this is a courtship phase, just one day in the park. After several months of meeting, Daniel and the woman decided they were ready to marry.
Several months. So there you go.
Right. Their joyous wedding ceremony took place in a local church, witnessed by many guests. Today, 10 years later, Daniel and his wife have 2 kids, and together they conduct a ministry to spread the gospel in India.
That's great.
Although their marriage, like any other, has had its share of challenges.
I guarantee.
They had to grow in love.
Yeah.
And are deeply committed to making the marriage work for a long term. Instead of growing in love, that's where I would say they had to choose to love each other.
Yeah, and they got to know one another. I think that's what growing in love would be, is that I would like a Coke from McDonald's, and I know that you're gonna choose water or a Fanta.
No, you want ice with a little.
With a little cup.
You want.
I want a cup of ice.
Flavored ice.
Yes, with a little Coke.
From McDonald's.
Yes.
And you want the biggest that they have, even though you're only
It's
going
gonna
to
melt.
take one sip.
Yes. Because they're all $1. So.
Oh, well,
And you finish it up anyway. But no, I think that's what they meant by growing
I
in
still
love.
haven't understood why that you don't like get a cup of ice and a cup of Coke.
I did that.
And then another cup and kind of makes
Blend
it
them. Because probably usually I just only
one
want that
cup
much.
of ice,
Yeah.
one sip of Coke.
My dad used to say the same thing, I promise.
Are you serious?
I promise. Yeah.
Oh, notably, arranged marriages boast a divorce rate of 6.3%, significantly lower than the overall divorce rate in America, which hovers around 42%. So I guess I can understand now why the married at first sight is one of those things that might actually work better.
Truly.
While arranged marriages are not part of my personal experience, I have come to appreciate certain aspects of them. Notably, arranged marriages boast a divorce rate of 6.3%, significantly lower than the overall divorce rate in America, which hovers around 42%.
And that's a lot.
I thought it was 50%, but anyway,
Well,
it's
almost.
close enough.
Yeah,
so they
it's
say
almost.
1 in 2 marriages.
Right.
This sparks contrast, emphasizes the value of commitment and perseverance demonstrated by couples who choose to grow together, despite the inevitable ups and downs of married life. Most of our readers would never consider an arranged marriage for themselves or their family members, but there are several valuable lessons we can learn from arranged marriages that will help us in our relationships. Is cultivating love. In many arranged marriages, couples enter into their union with limited knowledge of each other. So, strangers.
Stranger danger.
Married at first sight. Wow. Okay. Yet, over time, love has the opportunity to grow as they invest in understanding one another. So they have to spend. It's like speed dating, I guess, like what we were saying.
We did.
Do
Speed dated.
an application process.
Yes.
And in the U.S., there is a tendency to place immediate emphasis on passion and chemistry.
That's true.
Well, that's where
Get you in trouble every
we're
time.
going back to Love is a Choice book. Oh, it's
Yeah.
back here.
Yep, it's right here.
Okay,
Yeah.
Love is a Choice book. Is that the passion and chemistry doesn't last for 15 minutes.
About 15. And somebody said the other
Maybe
day.
6 hours if you're
Maybe.
lucky.
Maybe. But
and
no.
then you wake up the next morning and what did I just do?
Oh my
And then you're
gosh.
stuck in it, and then you're stuck in a relationship for the rest of your life.
But a really good friend, yeah, well, or not.
Well, at least until you can convince them to divorce
To
you.
get out of here. But a friend of mine the other day, she said, we have beauty in youth. I mean, you have beautiful women, and not so beautiful women, but they're pretty. They're pretty because they're young, and stuff. But the Bible tells us that fades. Can you love someone when their beauty fades? And this is about marriage and how we feel about marriage. And as a woman gets older, she feels like her beauty is fading, but yet her husband still adores her because, and vice versa. If the man's, masculinity is fading because he's weaker than he was, 10 years ago, that doesn't mean you don't love him as much. So.
And that's why it says, love the wife of your youth. Love her as you loved her when she was
young.
When she was young. But they were really young back then, and then they really changed after they had
really.
kids. You didn't really know, like today you can kind of have an idea. By the time they're in their 20s, most people probably marry in their 20s or 30s. You have an idea of what this person's going to look
Similar,
like.
yeah.
Because after you have kids, you like,
your body changes.
If you're a teenager, you're going to, gain a lot of weight from the pregnancy.
Yep.
And that sort of thing.
And stuff in your belly and
But
flat.
one of the things I think women don't realize is, I think God made men to like change. They like their wives when they're pregnant, and then they like them when they're fat after they're pregnant. And they like them when they lose the weight. No matter what it is,
That's exactly right.
They become attracted.
Now he has said that to me before, months ago. He said, because I was like, when you start getting in, because Tony didn't know me in my young years, but actually I've looked about the same since I was like 40. About 40, I've looked the same,
Right.
But I had my baby at 18, so, I started young.
However, by embracing patience and understanding, individuals in arranged marriages believe they can learn to nurture love and develop a deeper connection over time. Maybe one of the problems is Americans are usually more selfish than Indians. Indians are, people from India.
Right.
They'll get upset with me for using Indians. But the people from India, they're more humble and they're more interesting, mainly because of probably the Hindu beliefs that they have to be good people.
Right.
They usually try to be better, more
good people,
better people and that sort of thing. So, but anyway, with that is commitment and perseverance. Let's see. I read that in my Bible today. Is persistence with let's see. Hand me my Bible. It's in Acts chapter 2. That's where Cecil.
Acts chapter.
No, he was in John chapter 1
John.
in Sunday school. Patience with persistence equals perseverance. Patience with persistence equals perseverance. So if you're having trouble in your relationship, patience with persistence will equal perseverance in that relationship. So we have to be lots of times patient with each other, and we have to keep being persistent about the same thing.
Right.
And so.
And that was in John. First John.
No, I just written it
in.
at the bottom. Whenever I guess it came to me one day that was what I needed to do. I was too patient and too perseverant.
Yeah.
These couples understand that a successful marriage requires dedication and hard work.
Yes.
They are willing to weather the storms and overcome challenges rather than giving up at the first sign of trouble.
That's exactly right.
Oh, I'm never gonna forget that.
Oh, yeah. Ever.
I'll never forget that you did that.
Yeah,
to me.
exactly.
Yeah, it's over. But by learning from arranged marriages, couples can create a long-lasting bond that will overcome any obstacle. The next thing is building a strong foundation. Arranged marriages emphasize the importance of building strong foundations before love can fully blossom. Couples are encouraged to prioritize their shared values, compatibility, and mutual respect. While these considerations may seem pragmatic, they are essential for establishing a lasting partnership. In contrast, Western cultures often place more emphasis on intense romantic feelings as the foundation of the relationship. So you can't trust your feelings.
No.
However, this initial sparks can fade, leaving couples struggling to maintain a meaningful connection if it's based on feelings. That is, and that's what I was
Right.
telling you. You got 15 minutes to 6 hours. I mean,
Right.
what's the world record there?
Yeah. 2
But it's
weeks.
usually 5 minutes. Okay.
2 weeks married and then divorced.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm talking about the emotions,
I know.
and then it's like the where's my car, or the other
I'm gonna go golfing.
movies that they have. No, I'm talking about where that they go to Vegas and they got married.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Or with a
That's
tattoo
awful.
on their
Yes.
forehead.
Oh my goodness.
Working hard at building a solid foundation leads to a lasting relationship. Now, weathering the storm. That's the
hard one. Weathering the storm.
In every relationship, there will be bad days, and that's what Dad always he would tell Tim and me, and that you really need to go through somebody at least a year, if not 2 years, so you can see a recycle, so you can see their good and bad days, and see if you can tolerate their bad days.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Misunderstandings and challenges that test the strength of the bond. Arranged marriages can teach us that it is possible to weather these storms and come out stronger on the other side. Couples in arranged marriages often rely on communication, compromise, and a shared sense of commitment to overcoming obstacles. By applying these principles to our marriage, we can learn to navigate the inevitable rough patches and work together to find solutions rather than simply giving up when things get hard. And that's what I told you the other day. I don't know what it'd be hard if you had two stubborn people, two control freaks, that weren't willing to
work things out.
Or it had to be, the solution would, that's the nightmare with a cleric. Is a cleric, it has to be their idea. That's one of the things I learned in sales, is you have to make it their idea to buy
That's right.
the product. That they're not, you can't talk them into buying the product.
No.
It's got to be their idea.
Right.
And so if you have two clerics in a marriage, that would be, I don't know how that they would survive it, probably, but because it would have to be individually their idea on the compromise.
Unless
before
you had
they would be willing to compromise.
if you had one cleric that would go, okay, I'm going to be better off if I can let them do this. So I'm going to let them think it's their idea. I don't know. I'm not much on being a faker.
and let's see, working together. Arranged marriages encourage couples to grow together over time.
Yeah.
Love is seen as a journey rather than an immediate destination. Oh, I'm in love. Never been so in love with my life.
You're so full of it.
It's like moto
Moto.
on Madagascar.
Oh yeah. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Couples learn to adopt. She asked him, "What do you like about me?" You're big.
You're big. He was a hippo and another hippo. You're big.
No, what do you really like about me?
You're big.
Arranged marriages encourage couples to grow together over time. Love is seen as a journey rather than a destination. Couples learn to adapt, compromise, and evolve alongside one another. This approach recognizes that individuals change over time and that the relationship must adapt to accommodate this transformation. By embracing this perspective, we avoid stagnation and create an environment of continued growth and development. I don't expect most of the people I know to turn their choice of a spouse over to their families. They probably should.
Yeah. Might
They
be
would
better.
be much better off.
Yeah.
Don't you think if your parents had picked your spouse rather than you?
Yes.
But anyway, we can all learn from a method of matchmaking that is quite successful. In fact, it is a wonderful blessing to have your family fully engaged in
Yeah.
loving and supporting your spouse.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I'm saying. If they picked out the spouse, they're invested in this. You're not going to have a mother-in-law saying, "Oh, you need to dump that sorry thing."
Yeah.
You know, 'cause I didn't. You know, he won't work, and you go,
Right.
You know.
Well, now my dad approved him right away.
Right.
Yeah,
You would have a
he did.
father-in-law doing the same
Yeah,
thing. Or
exactly.
something. Anyway, you don't. They're invested.
They are.
They have skin in the game.
Yes.
So they're going to be trying to help you rather than trying to hinder.
And
you.
then to break you up.
Right, and that's what I think. With my first a few two, I had that problem.
Yeah, you did.
And so in fact, let's see, family fully support of the spouse. In fact, it is a wonderful blessing to have your family fully engaged in loving and supporting your spouse. Marriage takes a lot of hard work, and people in arranged marriages know that from the very beginning of the relationship. If all of us can apply that ethic to our marriage, perhaps we might also see the number of successful marriages grow as a result. And there's my timer.
Yep.
And so, with that, we want to encourage you to like. I guess we don't have Bailey on
Bailey's
tonight.
not tonight.
And share,
Please.
subscribe, make comments, ask questions, and the like, and hit the ding-a-ling.
Hit the notification, ding, ding, ding. It will let you know when we come on. And, the stuff that we discuss, we're trying to help ourselves as well as you know to hang in there with your marriage. Don't give up on it so easily.
Right. And so, with that, we say...
Good night. Until we meet again. Adios. Au revoir. Arrivederci till then. And know it's always sweet sorrow to part. You know you'll always remain in my heart. Good night. Sleep tight.
Don't let the best part like
Here's a wish
and a prayer.
that every dream comes true. And how to live it again.
Adios, au
Good
Good
night.
night.
We love you.
And don't ever forget, you are truly loved.